Well. It's been a long time since I went live. Well, let me first start off with Happy Father's Day. And I'm going to do it a little bit different this time around. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Today is a special day for many people, especially for myself. I really relish the day, Father's Day. But I want to give a shout out not only to the fathers that are handling their business and doing what needs to be done, but, a father is not just someone who fats her. A father is an educator, a teacher, a motivator, enlightens people, encourages people. We often have to teach, reach, and preach. And I want to reach those fathers, although I don't agree with their lifestyle because it's just not me. But I want to reach those fathers that are not in their children's lives or is struggling to be the very best for their children. I just want to say Happy Father's Day to them as well, because we don't know their struggle. Who are we to judge them? Maybe they're going through something that we just don't understand. And I just say to all those good men out there are doing the right thing. If you know someone like that, let's be a part of their life so that maybe they can be in the life of their children and make a difference. I mean, who are we to judge? I think I'm a great father, and I'm sure there's some sideline people that said, Ramel could do this, Ramel could do this better, Ramel could do that. So why should I judge that man? I don't know his struggles. So happy Father's Day to that guy, along with the great dads out there. And I'll be remiss if I fail to mention a few great men in my life. My father-in-law, my grandfather, and of course, my dad. That no longer could be here at this time. But if I ever become half the father that my father was, I'll be a great father. Miss you guys. Miss you, Dad. Happy Father's Day to you. Let's get to it right now. Like I said, it's been a while. Last time we spoke, it's been a while. Golden State has won the championship. Hey, listen, if you want to be part of the show, give me a call. The number is 706-801-5926. I'm taking all calls. We're going to be talking about the Golden State win. We're going to be talking about, can they repeat? Can they keep the team together? Where does Cleveland go from here? Boston just made a big trade in my eyes. What's up with them next? Does Philly win in this trade? Paul George announces he's not returning to Indiana in 2018. Who would you say is the early favorite to land him? And of course, we got to talk about what took place last night as Andre Ward retained his title. So again, be part of the show. Give me a call, 706-801-5926. Once again, 706-801-5926. Hey, listen, let's get right to it. Golden State, they go to the championship 3 years in a row. They win their second one. What can you say? What can you actually say about this team? This is a loaded team. All right? The big question comes now is with Durant and Steph Curry being free agents, along with Livingston, along with Iguodala, along with guys like McGee, David West, even Zaza. How do you keep this team together? That's the question. How do you keep this team together? There's reports that Durant said he will take less money. I'm here to tell you that if they can figure out a way to keep the 4 All-Stars in the lineup and Iguodala and Livingston on this team, Golden State's going to be right there for the next 3 years in a row. Because those guys, such as Iguodala and Livingston, they're not signing one-year deals. They'll sign multi-year deals. So they'll be there for the next 3 years. And then you can see a guy like, Happy Father's Day to you, Mel. Appreciate the love. I can see a guy like Zach Randolph going in for the league minimum. David West retires. He goes there to win a ring. Zach Randolph, I can see him doing it. Here's a guy that made a ton of money in his lifetime. I can see David West retiring and Zach Randolph going to Golden State for the league minimum. Just to try to win a ring. To do something like David West. So, for that matter, I wouldn't be surprised if Vince Carter says, I'll go to Golden State for 1 year just to try to win a ring. Don't want to be the list of people like Patrick Ewing, Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, John Stockton, Allen Iverson, Dominique Wilkins, Chris Webber. That list is huge. Reggie Miller. Don't win the championship. So I can see Golden State being okay, filling out their roster. But a guy like Iguodala, who reminded us all in Game 5 that just 2 years ago, I won this MVP. He had 20 points in 38 minutes coming off the bench. And this is a guy that wants to be there. This is a guy that wants to be in Golden State. So Golden State, in my mind, just have to figure out a way to keep the 4 All-Stars and the first 2 guys off the bench. Whether David West come back or not, again, a guy like Zach Randolph, who's made about $150 million in this league, I'm sure he wouldn't mind taking a $2.4 million contract to win a championship. And oh, by the way, can contribute. It's not like it's a little sneeze. He can contribute. Go there for the league minimum. I can see that happening. Vince Carter jumping on board. I can see that happening. If not them, maybe they try to link on to a team like San Antonio. Because let's face it, Memphis is not getting any better. And if Vince Carter and Zach is part of the future in Memphis, they're not getting any younger either. So I really think that Golden State is here to stay. Again, if you want to be part of the show, phone number is 706-801-5926. We talking hoops. We talking boxing. Give me a call. Now, the real question becomes, what do the Cavs do from here? Clearly, they can't beat Golden State as a symbol. I think they're one star too short. What do they do? With Paul George announcing that he's not returning to Indiana in 2018, is that the guy to try to trade for? Possibly a 1-year rental? Because we all are under impression, and strong impressions at that he's going to Los Angeles when he's a free agent, possibly to the Lakers. So does Cleveland take a chance and trade for him? Me personally, I don't think Paul George is the answer in Cleveland if it's at the expense of Kevin Love. I'm not against trading Kevin Love, but it would be for another big, not for a wing. I would not trade Kevin Love for a wing. That's just me. I think that LeBron doesn't like to play big, and it's going to put him in a position to play big if you acquire Paul George. And I think what you're doing is filling one spot but opening up another hole. The key to Cleveland's offseason, if they feel that they need to challenge Golden State, they need to find a way to acquire a 4th star without trading their big 3 right now. They don't have much to work with. I mean, you're going to have to dangle Shannon Fry, Shumpert, and some future draft picks and hoping somebody bites. Hoping that Chicago bites on Jimmy Butler. Hoping Portland bites on CJ McCollum. But that's the only way you're going to get there. By the way, Chicago will probably bite on that package for D-Wade. But I don't think D-Wade is the answer right now for Cleveland. I think D Wade would be a great fit in Cleveland in an Iguodala role. Coming off the bench, possibly getting 20 to 25 minutes, playing multiple positions, handling the ball some, playing a 2, maybe even playing a 3 at times. But I don't think that D Wade in the starting lineup for Cleveland will be that effective. I repeat, I think he'd be more effective in an Iguodala type role, coming off the bench and filling in for multiple positions. Not against D Wade going to Cleveland, but if that's the best you can get for Shannon Fry and Iman Shumpert and a couple of future draft picks down the line, if I'm Cleveland, I'm making that trade. I'll make that trade. Somehow or another, I make that trade. One thing about D Wade, if he's playing with LeBron, he will be motivated. And the fact that he's opting into a $23 million contract and have the right to walk after the following season, which is be free in 2018, if I'm Chicago, I'd rather get something for him than rather lose him for nothing. Because if you look back, since the championship days in Chicago, there's only been 2 free agents that might be recognizable names that actually went and signed with Chicago. And they're in the tail end of their career. That's Pau Gasol and D Wade. So as much history Chicago has, and it being a big city, it seemed to have problems attracting a big name free agent. So letting D Wade walk for nothing, maybe you take a Shumpert and a Shannon Fry and some future draft pick. And by the way, if I'm trading with Cleveland, I'm taking the Boston approach with the future draft picks because it's paying off dividends for Boston. When they gave up Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Jason Terry, those draft picks wasn't the next year or that year. It was down the line. Those guys are retired and long gone. And look at the picks now. Number 1 this year. Possibly number 1 next year. Because they're in the lottery. So if I'm trading, hey, I'm going to give you a scenario. I'm New York. Carmelo guy. Big Knick fan. Hate to see Carmelo go. But if I had to trade him to Cleveland and I was up against the wall and had to do so and had to take back Shannon Fry and Iman Shumpert, I would want 2021 and 2023 draft picks. That's 4 or 5 years from now. Guess what? LeBron will be gone and retired or somewhere else, maybe Los Angeles, who knows, San Antonio, and that's a lottery team. Come 21, 23, New York's sitting with top picks. Top picks. So if I'm anybody who's trading with Cleveland, I'm thinking like that. Danny Ainge got the blueprint. He's showing it now as he's continuing to make moves. He's continuing to make moves. If you want to be part of the show, call me up, 706-801-5926. Love to hear from you. As Danny Ainge, as he pulled off that fleece from Brooklyn, and he secured the number 1 draft pick this year, he went on and did something that I think is a great move. Listen, I think the top 3 picks in the draft are future All-Stars. No particular order. Fultz, Josh Jackson, and Ball. I think that they can't miss players. I think whoever you get, you hit on. But for Boston, what they really need, I don't think they need to run a risk on a lottery player per se. I think they need to challenge Cleveland right now because who Cleveland want and who they may want may be the same people. And if Cleveland get that player that they want, it could prolong LeBron's career in Cleveland. and make it difficult for Boston to win within the next 5 years. So I think it's very important what Boston is doing because they need to beat Cleveland to the punch at what that player is. So trading the number 1 pick to Philly for the number 3 pick and plus the Laker pick next year, which is probably bound to be a lottery pick. And you still got Brooklyn's pick. And you got money to spend. Think about the position that Boston is in right now. You got Horford locked up. You got Isaiah Thomas locked up for at least 1 more year. Bradley is locked up for 1 more year. Smart is locked up for 1 more year. You could go out there and sign a player and now trade for a player because you got draft picks to give up. And I read today that they contact New Orleans for Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis. Now, if I'm New Orleans, that's a difficult move. You got to come with a serious pitch for me to unload Anthony Davis. If I'm New Orleans, I'll be quicker to unload Cousins before Anthony Davis. But if Boston is throwing at 3-4 number 1 picks, maybe 1 or 2 players on the roster, that's something you got to think about. I mean, you do have Cousins there. So it's not like the cupboard will be bored. There's still going to be players to come out and see. I mean, fans to come out to see you. And you may still be able to build around him. The only difference is Cousins is free after next season. Anthony Davis is still locked up for a couple of years. So the cupboard will have somebody longer if Davis stay on board. But Boston is looking to make moves. I never thought about pitching a trade to New Orleans for Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is a player, guys. The only concern you have about him is his health. But he's a player. And if Boston can somehow trade for Anthony Davis and sign Gordon Hayward, that's a new look for them. If they could come out there with Isaiah Thomas, Bradley, Gordon Hayward, Davis, and Horford, guys, that's for real. That's for real. And here's the other thing. The coach can coach. So what he will do, the starters will take care of themselves. The starters will take care of themselves. But he'll have that bench ready to go. He will have that bench ready to go. So my question is, where do Boston go from here after now trading? Is Anthony Davis really in the cards? Do they go after a Paul George? I wouldn't. Do they go after a Jimmy Butler? Possibly. Do they go after Blake Griffin? I would. Maybe he stays healthy, he goes to Boston. You know, the Clippers, once upon a time, it was Clipper curse. Has that changed? Just because they got recent talent? Probably not. Because these guys get hurt right around the playoff time. Win 50 plus games every year for the last 4 or 5 years, but can't advance in the playoffs because somebody's always getting hurt. The Clipper curse might just be for real. I have 4 names here, 4 players. I'm going to put them in 2 sets. You have Blake and you have Gordon Hayward, Paul George, and Jimmy Butler. I think Boston needs to find a way to get two of them. One from the free agent and one from the trade. Ideally, if you can sign Gordon Hayward, which is probably highly likely, I think you have a strong chance. Do you get another win? That's the question. See, if you sign Blake Griffin, getting Paul George or either Jimmy Butler is a no-brainer because you adding a power forward and a wing player to Horford, Isaiah, and Bradley. That works. Whether it's Blake and George or Blake and Butler, that works. If you can add an Anthony Davis and get Gordon Hayward, that's phenomenal, guys. That is absolutely phenomenal. Boston will challenge Cleveland. My question is, with the loss to Cleveland and being with the loss to Golden State, Cleveland, and their payroll is very tight, is Cleveland's run in jeopardy in the East simply because they may not be able to add on without subtracting? Again, I don't think Kevin Love for a wing player is a smart move. So with Boston positioning themselves, gaining all these draft picks, and there's a little birdie that says also they may not be done with the third pick. They might be looking to trade that to Sacramento for the 5th and the 10th pick. Now listen, I think that 4 and 5 might be a little bit of a drop off from 1 and 3 as far as players. I mean, from a point guard standpoint, yeah, it's Fultz and Ball. But how far is De'Aaron Fox from them? How far is he from them? If point guard is the way you want to go. Okay? Now, Sacramento gets to the 3rd spot. They clearly drafting a point guard. My question is this. How far is Jason Tatum from Josh Jackson? Now, granted, if I had my choice, I'd go with Josh Jackson. But how far is Jason Tatum? I tell you, I'm a Knicks fan, diehard to the end, but I'm also a basketball fan. And when I see something that I find intriguing or either a great move, I got to chop it up. I like what Boston is doing. And if they do trade the 3rd pick to Sacramento for the 5th and the 10th pick, again, they're just grabbing up draft picks, not for their team, but to use in a trade to pursue. And it's out there right now. They looking to get Anthony Davis. Will New Orleans break free from Anthony Davis if Boston throws at them 4 or 5 lottery picks, along with maybe Jay Crowder and Marcus Smart? I mean, Rozier, to me, played well. And he looks like he's only going to get better. I like Marcus Smart. What he does don't show up in the box score. But if you can package him with Jay Crowder and maybe Kelly Olynyk and 3 draft picks, got a lottery picks to get Anthony Davis, you got to do that. I mean, you have to do that. The only package that would probably make me a little bit hesitant if it included Avery Bradley. But again, I would do that. So I'm here to tell you that I think Cleveland's run in the East could be in jeopardy. Could be in jeopardy. Because I think just about all the major teams in the East, like Toronto, Washington, Boston, I think that if they can find a way to make that one move, it could be serious over there. It really can be. And then keep this in mind as well. What about the Milwaukee Bucks? That looks like Golden State a couple of years ago. Just a young nucleus with talent. A load of talent. With a load of talent. That just probably needs to grow and gel. And oh, by the way, I think they have the Rookie of the Year in Malcolm Brogdon out of the University of Virginia. A senior. If you want to be part of the show, give me a call. 706-801-5926. Let's chop it up. Now, what does Milwaukee need? I think Milwaukee just need a little seasoning. Need to just stay together, go to course, grow a little bit. I'm not the biggest Jason Kidd fan, but he does have him going in the right direction. I don't know if he came out and coached too soon, but you know what? His track record is speaking for himself. He's had some success with Milwaukee. They may be looking to trade Greg Monroe. I don't know if they're going to find any takers at $17 million a year. But he only has a one-year deal, which he'll probably opt into this year. So he might be able to be traded. But what do they look for? This is a team that's got shooters. They have athleticism. They got length. They quick. Question is, what can Jabari Parker come back as with his second ACL? Load of talent. I mean, him and Giannis is possibly the best. Well, I'm going to say they're the best young front court, minus the center, best forward tandem out there. Young. Well, they got to challenge Durant and Green, but they're younger than them. The future is bright for that team. And again, what can Cleveland add without subtracting? That's the question. Now, if they come back as the same team, it's still going to be a strong candidate in the East. This is not to say they take a notch down. But if you're capped out and you can't make no major moves, while others can, that gap closes. That gap closes a little bit. And who knows what kind of head LeBron is going to have next year? Does he already sees the writing on the wall that this team can't get any better? Do you risk trading to Kevin Love? Will he be off and running already? The rumors is already starting. If Chris Paul makes it to San Antonio, do LeBron follow? Does LeBron go to one of the Los Angeles teams because of his business out there and he's bought a home and he's already enrolled his children in the schools out there? What happens? Something to talk about. Paul George, he announces he is not re-signing with Indiana. What does Indiana do? Sure, they're going to try to get the highest bid for him, the highest package. But what's the package that really makes sense most to them? Guys, it may not be a talent package. Because if Boston gives them the best package, but he tells Boston, I'm not signing with you guys, does Boston still give up all of that for him on a one-year rental? Yeah, there's a lot of teams that would love to have him. But are you going to mortgage part of your success on a guy that clearly wants to be in Los Angeles, that cannot commit to you? Is that wise for any GM? I mean, literally, you gambling. You probably have a better chance of hitting lotto knowing that he's going to stay with your team. This may not seem like a lot, but the Lakers might have the inside track. I say Russell, Randall, the Houston pick that they got this year in the first round, and I say offer that. Because that's the one team we know he will resign. I'm sure there's better packages out there than that. But if he's not going to resign with my team, I'm not giving you anything. I'm not giving you anything. So Indiana, maybe this is why Bird left. He knew this. He saw it coming, and he wanted to be part of that. He didn't want to be part of that. Who's going to trade for Paul George for a one-year rental, give up some rotation players and draft picks, knowing that he's going to Los Angeles after the season is over? If I'm LA, I'll go ahead and trade Randall and Russell for him right now. Get him in the fold. Maybe that attracts somebody else to come along with him, like a Blake Griffin. He's already out there. He's Hollywood. He likes the royalties that comes in there from his commercials and so forth. And you go with Lonzo Ball, Paul George, Ingram, and Blake Griffin. And you find someone to start at the 5. I'll start Moscow. Why not? He's a young, athletic 7-footer that just wants to play. You trade for Paul George. You draft Lonzo Ball. Blake Griffin might come. You have the money. He's already in town. He knows the facility. He's already got a locker in the arena. Why not? And I tell you what, that pick that Boston traded for, that's a Laker pick, wouldn't be a great pick after all. Listen, the Lakers will not be a lottery team if they come out there with Lonzo Ball, Paul George, Ingram, Blake Griffin. They won't be a lottery team. They'll make the playoffs. And then you fill out your roster. Maybe you find a way to unload Dame, Luol Deng. You still have Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench. You still have Larry Nance coming off the bench. And Nance, by the way, he's just a hustle guy. He's not going to show up in the box score, but you know what? Every team can use a Larry Nance. So if I'm the Lakers, I would be aggressively on the phone. I wouldn't wait to free agency. Because if he gets traded and happens to like where he lands, or they win a championship, might be difficult to get him. I say get him now. Get him now. If that's your guy, get him now. Don't play around. Last night we had Andre Ward going up against the Bone Crusher, Kovalev. Listen, the first time around, I thought that Andre Ward lost the fight. I actually thought he was going to come in here and get knocked out last night. Yeah, I owe this man some respect. Although I think Sergey won the first 3 or 4 rounds last night, but he hit him with an awesome body shot on the belt that just changed the tides of the fight, and the rest is history. Good win by Ward. Who's next for him? I don't know. The one problem there's two problems that I think Ward has. One, he doesn't fight enough. This was probably the shortest time frame between fights in a long time for him. I don't think he's quite a light heavyweight. I think he's really a super middleweight, but there's no competition for him there that he had to move up. I don't know if he's going to take on somebody like Stevenson. Stevenson's a real light heavyweight. Not that he's as skilled as Ward. Like, he's just a big guy. He's strong. He's big. You know, he's kind of cruiserweight if you want to know the truth. So Ward, I don't know where he goes from here. I like Ward. He's a very skilled fundamental fighter. It looks like he can put on a few pounds. But it's going to get tougher for him in this light heavyweight. But kudos to him. He came out. He played. He fought. He fought through it until he got what he wanted, and he ran with it, and he retained his belt. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. He retained his belt. Happy Father's Day to you, Ramel. Appreciate the love. He retained his belt at the end of the day, and that's all that matters. Hey, if anybody wants to be part of the show, give me a call, 706-801-5926. But the next big fight coming up, Triple G and Alvarez, anybody who follows the show, they know I'm an Alvarez fan. Okay, Ramel, give us a call, 706-801-5926. Once again, 706-801-5926. Call me up. That's the next big fight coming up, September 16th. And then, of course, I don't know if you guys are interested in that fight in August with Mayweather and Conor McGregor. I'm really not interested in that. I don't follow UFC. It might be entertaining, though. If they're in a boxing ring, I don't see Floyd losing. I just don't. I think that it's easier to fight in UFC than it is in boxing. Boxing requires a lot of skill. I don't know if this guy has any prior boxing history or have any boxing skill or just make the transition from UFC to there. Just like if it was in the UFC arena, Floyd, he should take the fight. I don't think Floyd can handle that. Mayweather can't handle that. That's not for him. So I'm not really interested in this. You know, if Mayweather want to come back and fight, take the winner of Triple G and Alvarez. Yeah, I know he beat Alvarez before, but Alvarez was younger and he's better now. He's more wiser. If that's what you want to do, come back and fight. I know money is everything, but take the winner of that one. Because that's going to be a good fight, guys. September 16th, that's going to be a good fight. So that's going to do it for the show. Again, Happy Father's Day to all fathers. Even the ones that we disagree with their behavior. At the end of the day, we don't know what's going through their lives. They could be hurting that the fact that they can't help or make a difference in their child's life. Who are we to judge them? Instead of judging them, let's reach out to them. Let's give them a helping hand. Let's give some ideas, enlighten them how maybe it can happen. Happy Father's Day to those guys too, because they hurt just like everybody else. And you'd be surprised how many of them are hurting. Yeah. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace and blessings. We'll chop it up soon. I got a lot of ideas in my head what to talk about. I'm going to get at it. We got the draft coming up Thursday. I'll probably do something before then. We got the draft on Thursday. And then we got the awards ceremony for the first time in league history. They're going to have an award ceremony, and they're giving out a Lifetime Achievement Award. From what I understand, it's going to go to Bill Russell, which is great. Bill Russell getting a Lifetime Achievement Award in the NBA. Listen, we could talk about LeBron going to 7 straight finals, and that's incredible. This guy went to 11. As a player, as a coach. As a player coach. You know, when we talk about greats and the Mount Rushmores, I don't include Bill Russell. And maybe because I didn't see Bill Russell. But how do you leave him off? For crying out loud, that Finals MVP is named after him. By the way, my Mount Rushmore, and I stand by it. Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Challenge me if you want. Magic Johnson may have revolutionized the game when he entered. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was at the time when he entered the greatest player in NBA history. And to this day, you can still make the challenge that he is. Only to be challenged by Michael Jordan. And Larry Bird. What player has played this game that's had the IQ that he has, along with the dagger as sharp and long as his in the drawer? You name one person. Larry Bird, very rare, missed a game-winning shot. Or the shot that put you ahead for good. This guy was 6'10", non-athletic, couldn't run, couldn't jump, no quickness. Averaged 24, 10, and 6 per game at the small forward position. At the small forward position. You got point guards that don't average 6 assists. You got centers that don't average 10 rebounds a game. And I'm sure if he wasn't rebounding and passing the ball, he could have averaged 30. Let him play today. See, here's something I want to say, and now I was about to wrap up, and this is another show. The guys from yesteryear and the guys today, I'm not going to say that one couldn't play in each other's era. But the greats from the 80s and the 90s, they played today, especially on the scoring end, their numbers would dramatically increase. Dramatically increase. But the players today, if they played in that era, their numbers would dramatically decrease unless they can make it up at the free throw line. Because that hand check was real. Listen, Jordan averaged 30 points a game in a hand check era. What will he average now? The three-point line was further in the 80s and the 90s. Larry Bird won the three-point contest with a jacket on. With a jacket on. I mean, just flapping here and there with a jacket on. What would he do with this short line today? So when you compare eras, yeah, I know, but let's think about it. If these guys was doing this in the hand check, hard foul era, what would they do in this era? And the question is, what these guys are doing today, and it's phenomenal. It's entertaining and it is great. Would they be able to do it in the hand check, hard foul era? I think their numbers will come down while these guys' numbers will clearly go up. Well, that's going to do it for the show. We'll do it again. Until then, peace and blessings. This is Ramel. We're chopping it up with Ramel. No notes, straight from the throat. Peace and blessings.